Next, I want to start making the marquee signs that I mentioned that are going to be turning as I animate these characters and animate this scene. So I don't really have too much idea how I'm doing this. I'm going to try to do some geometry nodes to make them look really presentable, but really going off of vibes with this one. The text that we're looking for here is going to be Joker and Harley. We want it to be really bold. We want it to be a strong text. We want it to be centered and character spacing there, word spacing. I think we're okay. Actually go left, then I can try to align this a little better. Okay, so next is trying to have these be a bit larger. So we're going to extrude them along the Z axis, and we can see here that these are now raised letters. Again, like I mentioned, I'm kind of going off of vibes. I wouldn't say I'm worried because I feel like that's an exaggeration, but I do want these to look right because I think this is a big part of the piece. And if they don't look good, then we are kind of out of luck. I'm just going to go with a standard font here. That works. Yeah, that works because it's also lining up pretty well. Let's take down the depth and let's smush some of these character letters together. Look at it from the top. Perfect, honestly. So what we're going to do now is let's look at it from the side. Those are still too extruded. So let's bring it down to maybe 0.1. Joker and Harley. Got that. And let's have them opened up a bit. I want to duplicate this just in case anything goes wrong. I'm going to convert this to a mesh, and then I'm going to go into this, and I want to get rid of all the front faces to see if I can kind of hollow them out or lights to exist inside of them. And it looks like I should be able to do that. I like pressing the period button on the numpad to only spin around the object that's selected. So this is looking really good of what I was trying to accomplish. So let's do this. Take these. Actually, let's make this transparent so I can separate those, and then I'll separate these again. What I'm going for here is trying to start building out what those flipped looks are going to look like. So if I took that away, that's messy. Let's try this again. I'll do it by verticals this time. Maybe that will help. Yeah, that looks pretty clean. Oh, wait, no, we're missing the bottom layer. So see how we adjust, take these, and then separate. That worked. There we go. All right, cool. So we'll just keep that process going forward. Take that tool. We'll take these, select the box, and then also take the vertices. This is getting a bit more complex than I thought it would be. Let's see if we can find an easier way. Like I mentioned, a lot of trial and error. That worked. All right. I see what we have to do now. So then we'll take the A, we'll flip it over, do the other side. And for extra effect, we'll do the faces, and we'll do the faces again. That way we make sure we get everything back here, J and the K, I mean the R and the K. Excuse me. Let's take this again, put over, separate a couple more times. Let's do the L and the E, R and the E, and then the ampersand and the separate that. All right, let's see what this looks like now that we have these. Yep, no worries, we're good. Okay, so let's delete this and we'll call this J and K. We'll do O and A and R, E and L, R and E, and then the ampersand and Y. Ampersand got a little bit mauled, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Let's get the panels and plane. Do one there. Edit to have it a little bit longer. And I think these are folds. Like, I don't think these are just, I think these are like almost like a triangle shape. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Let's go to side, take these 2 points, and we extend them down or extrude them along the axis, then you'll start to understand what I mean. I think they are like this, where it is a fold and the letters kind of sit on top of it. And for the whole thing, let's extrude, or even better, let's do a solidify modifier and have the offset be 0 and just make it a little bit bulkier. That works. And we'll make this transparent. So now I can take all of these and move them closer to where I want them to be. Got it. All right, so that's done. And we'll group that with J and K, JK, and the plane. That's now 1. And I will place an empty here because I want to rotate the empty so that this all rotates in the same way. So what I'm going to do is take both J and K and parent them to the empty, parent to the object, rotate it 90 degrees. So now it is facing up, which is what we want. So let's apply the solidify modifier. And then it seems like inside the fold, I guess we'll call it here. Oh, that was silly of me. That's fine. Inside the fold here, it looks like it's illuminated, and then on the outside, it looks like it's not. So we'll replicate that in the best way that we can. But let's take this and start with the outside. Do edit mode, call this marquee fin texture, and let's make this black and rougher. About the light that eventually will be reflecting on it still shines through. And then on the inside, we'll grab these faces right here, make another one, and this will be marquee fin texture inside. And in here, I don't want this to be the same texture. I want this to be, oh, that's why we didn't apply the solidify modifier. So now that we have, now I can grab that inside. Inside, now we have. Let's do an emission to be a bit orange. Let's make the strength 1.6 for now. We can toggle with that later, but it seems like it is an illumination color. So let's do that. Now that I've already started doing some lighting, and I'm going to be doing more lighting, let's start making sure that I can see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go into this compositor frame and have this show me what it's looking like at the moment. I want it to be fog glow, save for now. And we'll bring back the room and the raised floor so that everyone feels included, and also the floor. We need to make bigger. Save right. And let's see what this is going to look like when it's rendered, just to try it out. That looks incredible. Wasn't expecting it to look that good, but it's looking great so far. So I've made it within the render settings that now I can see what I'm actually doing, what the render is going to look like. I'm able to start trying to adjust some things. So thinking specifically the inside of this that we talked about previously, I want this to be a bit brighter, and it's starting to show. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, it's starting to show a little bit more. I don't need it to be that aggressive. I just want it to be showing that there is some kind of glow to it and is not just a flat surface. So let's see if we can get there. Perfect. That works for me. Then let's go back here to this view. I want to turn the room back off again. I made these letters, and now I'm trying to figure out, how do we start making them look like marquee letters? How do we start making them look more like light bulbs in the ways that the lettering looks on the trailer? So let's start here with these plain and JK. I'm going to press the / so that we can single out this view. And I'm going to make a mesh where it is just a smooth circle. Going to make it small so that we can start populating these letters with some light bulbs. They're pretty big in the reference photo. So let me make this a little bigger. What I want to start doing is bringing this into a geometry node to start seeing how we can populate the whole entire J and other letters with this specific instance. So let's hop into the geometry node section, and we will go to our empty with J and K, zoom in and backslash that. Start a new geometry node. And what we want to do is try to find how we can put that instance within all of our different, get the letter to fill up with those in specific instances. I finally figured out how to make those marquee letters work. I've already have created these blinders or like dividers here, but what I was having a really hard time figuring out was these light bulbs. So what I ended up doing was I created a UV sphere that I cut in half. From there, I added a texture to it to have it illuminate. And after that, I have the Joker and Harley text. I then converted that to a mesh. And then I went to solidify the layer, because what I'm trying to do is get rid of this typology here. It's not something that I could really work with. So I had set the offset to like 0.1 to 0 and the thickness to 0.1. And then I created then I used a remesh modifier as well under sharp. I removed the disconnected and increased the octree depth up to 7 here. So then you can start seeing it's more of a square as opposed to those triangles that we try our best not to have as we're doing 3D modeling. Then I apply them in order. From there, you can start to see what this is looking like. It looks more like squares as opposed to triangles. Then within geometry nodes, I ran the geometry of that half light bulb that I made previously to an instance on point, and then used that light bulb half as the instance, made it really small, and then have the geometry showing there. So what you can see here is I will then add the modifier of the geometry nodes here and apply that geometry node. Then you can see here, it is those light bulbs marquee kind of style that we were really looking for. And was able to put that across all of them. And then this is a long process, I'm not going to lie. I duplicated that panel that we talked about previously and pulled it over to the other side to where I wanted it to be. And then I also took an empty and moved it to the blinder as well. From there, I am going to be selecting the blinder, the light bulb, and the empty lastly, so that I can make it into a parent. Because at the end of all this, what I'm striving for is, let me get rid of all these. I want for all these blinders to exist on their empties so that when I come into here and I click on all the empties, I can easily rotate them up. So we want this to 90 degrees. And you see now that the Joker and Harley blinders are here. And now I want to put them on the stage where they belong. Let's grab these, turn this back to here so we can breeze through this. The upper view so I can see where they're going. Right here, scale. Make it bigger. Let's see. That seems about right. I wanted to still have some space between where the top of the curtains are and where the top of the marquee is. Pull this out a little bit more. And now you'll see why I made them empties. So I can space them apart as needed. Go all the way to the end, space that way, and for as well. Cool. So now you'll be able to see it says Joker and Harley, and it looks exactly like it does in the trailer.